Hi, welcome to the Chrissy Mayer podcast. We are on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us right now on iTunes, please go and leave a 5-star review. For example, it could be like this review from Mayor McDickcheese. The review is called Burp. Just popped a few blue chews and washed it down with some cherry sriracha. Thanks for more great eps with Jay Dyer, one of the best and most diverse pods out there. Time to go all out and have Alex Jones on. Oh, yeah, I would love to have Alex Jones. And trust me, I'm working on it. Thank you so much for the killer reviews, guys. I appreciate them. You know what else I appreciate? Groomed genitals. Very excited to let you know this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. They are the best in below the waist trimming with precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They're based here in the US, but they just launched in the UK. So get them overseas now for my British friends. Has this ever happened to you guys? Have you ever had sex after you accidentally nicked your nuts? It happened with me once. Well, I mean, it wasn't me. It was with the guy I was seeing. They cut the base of their dick and they were in so much pain while we were fooling around. It really kind of killed the mood. And I also had Frank try the new lawnmower from Manscaped and it worked really well. And I swear to God, it made his piece look bigger. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes and comes with a really great recharging station. It's legit. It's waterproof. It has cutting edge ceramic blades and will reduce any awkward grooming accidents. If you're a dude, give this a try. Go to manscaped.com and use the code CMP for 20% off plus free shipping. Ladies, you know what I'm going to say already. Get this for your man. Christmas is coming. Get that stocking stuffed. Get those dick and balls looking pretty, all right? We got to come out of lockdown, guns blazing, dicks out, you know, make them look good. Manscaped.com, promo code CMP, 20% off plus free shipping. I also want to tell you guys about Cushy Dreams. Cushy Dreams offers a full lineup of premium smokable CBD. They specialize in extraordinary CBD-rich hemp flower, aka bud, in cans or pre-rolled CBD joints. They have all different kinds of strains like Hustle and Calm and Create, which is really great because whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to like psych yourself up for the day, they have a strain for that. If you're trying to calm yourself down and go to bed, they have a strain for that. And you can get, it looks like weed. It smells like weed. Whatever, it tastes like weed, but it's not. You don't go to La La Land. You don't get kooky. But for me, I do suffer from anxiety. Like sometimes it's crippling. And I've really found that smoking the CBD has like really helped with that. And it calms down my body. It calms down my mind. But I'm also not like out of control and like, when you get high and you like end up wasting the day, that doesn't happen with this at all. And it's grown here in the USA, which I think is the best part. Each batch is slow cured for 2 to 4 weeks. They're really big on quality. They take the artisan approach. It's 100% hand trimmed, if that matters to you. Cushy Dreams has CBD flower and pre-rolls, which are the joints, which I really like. They come in specific indica sativa blends like Energy, Hustle, Relax, and Dream. Go to cushydreams.com. That's Kushy. Get some high quality CBD bud. Tell your anxiety to go fuck off. Use it at checkout. Use the promo code CMP. Get 20% off every order and smoke your CBD. I am so excited to have these two on the podcast today. You may have seen him on World Star Hip Hop, Summer Jam, The Wendy Williams Show. He's an online sensation. He's a friend of mine. Please welcome to the program, Woody and Joselito.
Hey.
Hey guys, how has it been going? I mean, you guys just got back on the road after months of lockdown and no performing. How are you guys doing?
Oh man, we good. We good. Happy to be back on the road now after the whole lockdown. It's still a little weird though. Being out there, it's not the same. But more than anything, I'm just happy to be back out there.
Yeah, so when was your first Like, when was your last show before lockdown, and then what was the very first one that you guys did again?
March 7th in Philadelphia was my last show.
Hmm.
And then my first show back was October, what was that? October 25th, which was just last weekend in
Wow.
Milwaukee.
Wow, that's crazy. I want to explain to the listeners. So, Woody, you started out as just a solo stand-up comic. You did it for a couple years, and then you kind of retooled and came out with Joselito. Tell me about that process, what it was like, what made you kind of rethink your act, and what like inspired you to bring Joselito in.
Yeah, so like you said, I started in stand up. I was doing the regular stand up grind. Started off as an open micer, working my way through the scene in Boston, because that's where I'm originally from. So actually, when I first got into the scene in Boston, there was a few like notable comedians that were starting off with me. One of them was Eric Andre, um, who now has like the whole Eric Andre show, and he's in
Oh
movies
yeah.
and stuff
Yeah,
now.
he's huge
He's like
now.
big time now. And then there was another guy named Shane Moss who I started with.
Yeah.
A few other guys that got a few credits here and there, but started in like around 2007, and then about like 2012, I had worked my way up to being like like a feature opener, working for a couple clubs around town. And I was noticing that some of my friends were starting to do the online videos on Facebook and YouTube. So originally, I tried to hop on that online wave, and I started doing videos as myself, Woody Wood, and there wasn't really getting many views or whatnot. And then one day, it just so happened I was brainstorming for ideas for videos, like skits I could do for YouTube, because Instagram wasn't even out at the time.
Yeah.
And my daughter was watching a little puppet on Nickelodeon. It was called Crash and Bernstein, and it kind of sparked the idea in me because it reminded me of a similar puppet show I used to watch when I was little called My Cousin Skeeter.
Aw.
So then I just was like, how cool would it be to just come out with a Puerto Rican puppet? And I like the concept of like the puppet around like, humans. Everybody around them was like human. It wasn't like just a puppet show. It was like the puppet was almost like his own human.
Yeah.
So I I just Googled it, Puerto Rican puppet, and Joselito popped up. And his name was already Jose, so I added Lito, and then I just
Oh.
started doing videos with him.
So
And
you
then I kind
just
of just switched my attention to him.
so you literally Googled Puerto Rican puppet, and that's what came up.
Yeah, he was on the Hispanic puppet,
Oh,
and his name was Jose. And I ordered them, and then I started doing videos. But at first, I wasn't really doing them that often until like one of them just kind of went viral for me.
what Woody, what was the first of all, how much was the puppet? Like, were you just like, oh shoot, or is the thing where like like I because it looks like it would be expensive, you know what I mean? It's not just like a little hand puppet, it's like the real deal.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. He's gotten more expensive over the years because this is probably like my fifth or sixth Joselito because he just gets
Wow.
dirty. I actually lost one once. I lost one of the Joselito dolls one time.
Where, at the
Um,
strip club?
no, I was leaving a hotel. I was on the road, and I was leaving a hotel, and my dumb ass just I think I put him on the either the top of my car or the trunk, like, but I thought I had threw him in the trunk, and I drove off, and then about like 10 minutes in I realized like, oh fuck, Joselito, I don't think he's in the car. So I
Oh
pulled
no.
over, I checked the trunk, he wasn't in there, and then I raced back to the spot I was parked at, and he was gone already. So I had to
Oh
order a new one.
no.
Yeah,
Oh.
luckily I didn't have no shows, and right there I had just done the show the day before, so I had some time to spare to get a new one.
So what was your creative process like in coming up with like sketches to do with Joselito?
Okay, so in the beginning I sucked. I
We all
was,
do.
like
Yeah, that's the
like
truth.
like the first year it was so funny because like I'm not a ventriloquist, I'm a puppeteer. So I hide, and with Joselito, it's all about getting his mouth to sync up with what I'm saying. So like the whole first year of me doing skits, it looks like a bad Chinese movie. Like his mouth is all off from what I'm trying to say. Like it was not syncing up at all. So I had to like practice that in the mirror for like a few months of just trying to get that right of syncing, knowing when to like move his mouth as I'm speaking. And then in the beginning, I was just trying to do like it was almost like the stand-up process where you kind of voice with the sketches.
Right.
So in the beginning, I was just kind of raw, like doing whatever, like kind of trying to follow trends online, but doing it with a puppet. And then
Wow.
one day, a follower of mine was like, he said cabrón, which is you bastard in Spanish. He's like, you the Puerto Rican puppet. You haven't done one skit about like being Spanish or like anything like that, like nothing like cultural or anything. So I was like, oh, you got a point. So the next skit I did it in all Spanish, and then that one got like way better views than I had been getting. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
I was like, maybe I got something here. So then I just kind of started blending like the Spanish with the English and getting the whole Spanglish thing together. And I kind of noticed there was a little lane for that. So I just kind of I took my focus on there, like kind of making him like what he was, the Puerto Rican puppet, and like just doing all this stereotypical Puerto Rican jokes and stuff like that. And those started really taking off for me. And then one skit just went crazy for me. Like it was like the summer of 2016. One of my videos it caught 1 million views overnight
Wow.
on Facebook.
What? Wow.
Yeah,
Which
I
one
don't
was
know. It just
that?
it was I was like complaining about backwoods, but like the punchline was like it was like finding the right backwood is like finding a Puerto Rican girl in the hood for over 30 with no kids. I said something like that, and it just went crazy on Facebook. Which was weird because at that time I had like 20,000 followers on Instagram, but my Facebook wasn't really active. My Facebook maybe had like 1,600 followers. But then after that video hit, I went from 1,600 followers to 50,000 overnight.
Holy
And
shit. Wow.
yeah, that was like my breakout video. Like that video kind of like took me off because I woke up in the morning and my notifications on my phone was just crazy. I was like, what happened? I was like, because I wasn't used to like getting those type of views. I was like, what's going on? Like, and when I
Yeah.
seen I had got 1 million views, I got all these followers and stuff. And then that summer I ended up quitting my day job because then I started getting like the like hosting events because
Oh,
on
wow.
Instagram and Facebook before you start getting booked for like comedy shows, they start booking you for like appearances, like nightclub appearances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was getting a lot of those first when I first started taking off with Joselito, like getting a few $100 to just go party at a nightclub and dance around with
Wow.
Joselito.
Would Joselito like get into, was he friendly with the strippers or the girls ever? Would he get into trouble sometimes?
Oh yeah, yeah, he'd get into trouble. Joselito's like I like to call him. He's the number one cari fresco.
What? All right, I'm gonna need like translations on it, which is sad because I took Spanish like to until college, but I don't know. But like a lot of these are like, because I imagine you grew up like, are you both your parents Puerto Rican?
Yeah. So
And
it's
like,
like, and it's a lot of like slang too, like the whole Puti talk I actually got from my grandmother. Like a Puti is like his number one, like one of his number one
that's
catchphrases.
his catchphrase.
Um,
Yeah.
so the Puti is like a old school Puerto Rican term for like like a whole slur, something like that.
Just a lady.
And then
Yeah. A fun lady. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then Gary Freco would be like a player, or, somebody who's always like, like a Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah. 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 A ladies' man.
Yeah. And yeah, and then like once I started introducing the other characters with the puppets, I started basing them off of my family members. So, I introduced the abuela, which is the grandmother. Then I brought in Papi, which is his father.
Which
And
is
I
your
kind of just
dad?
based them off of, yeah, that would be my dad. Well, really more my stepdad. The Papi character is based off of my stepdad more because he was like that, just always loud and yelling. And then, my grandmother is the abuela puppet, and I'm actually trying to introduce another one, which would be the uncle. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, he's coming soon. I'm just trying to figure out what type of puppet I want to get for him because
Do
I
you
have a no, I have an uncle that's it's kind of common in a lot of Latino households, but there's always that like one crackhead uncle that's stealing everything, and like,
makes
so I'm
himself
trying
too
to introduce that
comfortable?
character.
Yeah. Did you find your other puppets the same way? Like, did you Google like abuela puppet and then that came up, or did you
No, it's
like?
actually an interesting story on how I got the other puppets. So I was already like a good year or two in with just Joselito as himself, and one day I went to how I was saying earlier, he gets dirty and I have to order like backups. So I went to go order a replacement Joselito and I ordered the wrong size. So when I got him, I was a little upset at first and I was like, damn, I was like, this isn't the right one. I gotta send them back. And a buddy of mine was like, yo, just keep them. He was like, maybe you were supposed to, have another puppet. And
Oh.
I ended up doing a skit where it was like a flashback skit, and I did it in black and white, and I put a mustache on this Joselito, and I used the other Joselito as like a young Joselito, and that's how I first introduced like the Poppy character. And then a fan of mine hit me up, and he was like, "Hey," he was like, "I was just looking online." He's like, and I came across this puppet that would be perfect for the Poppy character. He's like, "If you want, I'll order it right now and send it to you if you'll use them." I'm like, "Sure, yeah, send them to me." So he sent me
Oh.
that one, and then I did a couple skits with him, and then like a few weeks later, I guess he was just so excited that I used them. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you the abuela one too,"
Oh
and then
my
he sent me that one in the
God.
mail too. So
You got the
yeah,
whole
so those two
set.
I actually got. Yeah, I just and then he sent me another one too that was supposed to be the mom, but that one was just so ugly that I never really used it.
Wow, that's really neat. That's really cool. And it's great that these like the puppets are based off of like real people in your life and real slang you heard in your house growing up and like it's interesting. It's like, you're like you're going back to your roots kind of and like that's the stuff that pops off more is the stuff that's more personal to you. But I've seen your show a bunch of
Yeah,
times. I think I've like opened for you a couple times. Like I know we at the Comedy Cove we worked together, and it's just so funny. And it's like you don't even have to understand Spanish to like understand what's going on and like get the slang. Like you figure it out. But it's like you've amassed like such an amazingly like not only just large but like passionate and like amazing group of fans. Like I've just like the energy of your fans. Like
yeah,
they just that like those like they're the people like anybody in the crowd you're like oh you could go out with them and you'd have a good time like they're always there to like party and drink and they love you and
yeah.
it's just been really cool to see because it's different from a lot of other comedian fan bases that I know.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking about it with my other comedian friends, and they be using the word like almost like a cult following, because they're like
Yes.
it's like for the I do have a lot of followers, but there's still like people who have way more following than me. But like they say, it's like you said, my fans are so passionate, and they come out in flocks, like, and
Yeah.
they really are they're
They're
holding me down.
loyal. They're loyal. It's
Yeah,
like most comedy shows end. It's like, you do the glad hand and goodbye. Thanks for coming. Bye bye. Everyone looks tired. They want to go home. They can't wait to go home, take their pants off. But your fans, Woody, like every single one waits in line to shake your hand and take a picture with you. I mean, this is all like
yeah,
pre-COVID, but like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just so like blown away. They all want to get pictures and you have such great merch. Like you have, your t-shirt. I think I still have like a Queen, what is it? Queen Tototazo. Yeah. I wear it to bed. I wear it to bed. I cut the neck off and I just like, it's one of
Yeah,
my like sleeping shirts. And,
that's true.
and you have like you had a team of people helping you with your merch. Like you got your stuff together. Like I was just really impressed by everything and your setup is so amazing so like you have you know it's not even like a super unless you've changed it since I saw you last but it's like not even a crazy fancy setup you've got just like a block like a three-sided
Oh, the stage.
thing you're like
Yeah,
yeah I just like set it up and then it's just it really reminds me of like an old school like kids puppet show but it's like you have Joselito and he's like super dirty and he's talking about like pooties and I'm like
yeah.
This is the interview where I like sound the whitest I've ever sounded because it's like me trying to do all this like Puerto Rican slang, like the
Yeah.
Putis, but you have like
Well,
um, it's been really cool. So like, what was it trial and error with figuring out like what kind of a stage setup worked best for you?
yeah, well, that was the trickiest part about me doing stand-up with Joselito, because before I actually did a real show with him, um, that was my main problem, because like I said earlier, I'm not a ventriloquist. So I was like, how am I gonna do this? Like, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna be
You're
the the
like,
one guy who's up
"Arr."
there, yeah, like I can see your mouth moving. Like I never said I was ventriloquist.
Give your
But
money back. Ah.
yeah, so I had this one comedy promoter out of New York that was like hounding me for like a year, like we have to do a stand-up show with Joselito, and I kept telling him like I don't have like a stage set up yet, so I just started surfing the web, and then it just so happened the same company that makes him makes the puppet stage too, so that's why I
Oh.
ordered the stage. So I ordered the stage, and then we did our first show in April of 2017, and I did 20 minutes. But before that, those like 3, 4 months leading up to the show, like once I had booked it, I started hitting the mic scene as me as Woody Wood, but I was doing my Joselito material, just trying to see if it would hit first before I brought it to stage with him. And then yeah, we did our first show in April of 2017, and then we did the Broadway Comedy Club. We sold it out, and it was a good show. Everybody was laughing the whole 20 minutes. So then the next show after that, I bumped it up to 40, and then it was 45. Then eventually I did an hour show.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And like, what was the moment, or was there a particular moment or a show that made you realize like I could really do this? I could quit my job. Like, what made you feel like you could take the leap?
So when I quit my job, it was like I said, it was that summer of 2016. I was working at CVS, and I was just getting so much attention online, like because after that one video hit the million, I just kind of hit like a hot streak where it was like I was like the new thing online. Everybody was like, "Oh, who's this puppet?" Like, and
Is
it
that when
felt like
you
every video I was dropping
is
was
that
hitting
when
like a
you
million views that summer.
how soon after that one video that hit 1 million views did you get onto Wendy Williams or World Star? Was that pretty soon
Everything
after?
happened within that first like I want to say like 6 months. So
Oh wow.
that video hit in like March of 2016. By like I want to say by that summer, like June, I was already generating money off of the hostings, which was the guest appearances at the clubs, and I was working at CVS at the time, and it was starting to get to the point where I couldn't take enough days off of work because I was getting so many hostings, and that's when I decided, all right, let me just take that leap of faith.
Wow.
I still wasn't making crazy money. Where like, all right, let me quit my job, but my job was just getting in my way. And one of my friends made a quote that I'll never forget because he's like, well, you can always find another bullshit minimum wage job. he was like, he's like, you don't know where this puppet thing's gonna go. He's like, why don't you just try it for a few months, and at the end of the day, you could always find another bullshit job. And I'm like, you know what, you're right.
That's
and
really good
and I'm glad I
advice.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I did because what it did was it opened up my schedule. So now when people were hitting me up, I wasn't losing no opportunities. Because the few months prior to that, I had to turn down a few opportunities where it was like, oh man, I could have made a few bucks over here, a few bucks over here, but I had to work at CVS. So
You
then
had you had to give
once I
people their
quit,
pills. Yeah.
yeah. And then once I quit, it was like a year later we started doing the stand up. Because then what happened was people would come into the guest appearances mad that it wasn't a stand up show.
Oh, wow.
Like, what was it? Like you're just sitting in VIP drinking. Like I thought you was doing a show. Like,
What would they
so
what
then I was
so a club would
like,
hit
go ahead.
you up and like what would they tell you to do? Like what were your first few guest appearances like? Like what would they want you to do? Just like sit in the VIP
Um,
booth and
so yeah, my first one was actually at a strip club. It was Sin City in the Bronx, and they had a little thing that they did every Thursday. It was called Stripper Idol.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like the Simon, like the Simon of the judges panel, where it was like the amateurs go up and they do their thing, and then we kind of roast them at the end. Like so,
I think I know where
that
this is
one,
going. Yeah.
so that one was pretty cool. And then from there, I had other nightclubs hitting me up, and basically, when it's a hosting, it's more for like the promotion online that they're paying for you for. Like they want me to do like a little promotional skit for the night, basically trying to get asses in there, and then once I get there, they'll just have me somewhere by the DJ booth, put me in a VIP section, come out with the sparkly bottles, make a big
Yep.
scene about it, and they'll just pass me the DJ mic every so often. I'll just be like, "Oh, Joselito's in the building, hey,
Oh
make some
wow.
noise," just like that generic stuff, and then walk around, take pictures with people, but nothing crazy really. Like I said, there's no like performance involved or anything. And then a
Yeah.
lot of times, they don't even ask you to pull up until like the last hour of the event because
Oh wow.
they don't want you to come in until it's actually like kind of packed in there. So it's real easy work. It's just that,
Yeah.
like I said, after a while, I was noticing that people were just kind of itching for a show, some type of performance, some type of show, because
Wow.
they kept asking me when they would come see me. They'd be like, this is cool, but I thought you was gonna do some type of comedy show or something. You
Wow.
ain't really doing much but dancing around.
So even at these first couple of club appearances, were you getting just recognized a ton off the bat?
Yeah, yeah, like people were coming to see me. Yeah, people were still coming to see me just to, take pictures with me and stuff like that. 'Cause like I said, that was kind of like my, like I like to call my breakout summer, where I was getting like a lot of crazy views and people were
Mm-hmm.
just starting to get to know me. So it was like still like a new thing to everybody. So,
That's
and
so
then
exciting.
it's like the mystery too. A lot of people want to be like, hey, who's the guy behind the puppet? Like I want to see what he's like. So I get a lot
Yeah.
of that too. Like people just wondering who the hell I am. And
Oh yeah.
same question you're kind of asking me now. I always get into a mini interview with
Uh
people when I meet
did
them.
did those first appearances at Sin City, did this inspire what is now known as the Puti Olympics? Because isn't that your other Instagram account that you run? It's like
Yeah,
Puti underscore Olympics,
actually,
and it's like
it,
huge.
it, yeah, people love the Puti Olympics. It was actually the opposite. The Puti Olympics is what got me booked for it because they
Okay.
seen one of my Puti Olympics videos and it was a similar, theme to what they were doing, so that's why they booked me.
Did you start the Puti Olympics Instagram handle, or is that somebody else's?
No, yeah, that's my page as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Yeah, I started that page because it just started getting Instagram got real strict a couple years ago, and they
Yeah.
started deleting them off the page. So I just made it its own page, and I made it private, so that way anybody that follows that page, they want to see that footage. So I wasn't getting like those random haters that were just reporting my content. So if you
Yeah.
notice, that page is private, so that's why I left it like that. But actually the Puti Olympics are my most viewed videos because I have one Puti Olympics video that hit like 12 million, which is my most viewed
What?
video. Yeah,
Could
on
you
Facebook it hit 12 million.
So for people that have never seen one of these videos, like how would you describe it? Like what kind of commentary are you doing and like what's going on?
So it's like it's hard to explain because
So
it's
there'll be
like
like a girl that I saw there was one like there was like a girl like either like twerking and then like or it's like a twerk off between her and another girl, or it's like I saw one where a girl had like both legs on the dashboard and she's like vacuuming, she's like in a split basically like vacuuming underneath, or like it's basically like girls doing like I don't know, either feats of strength or like a showing of flexibility, or like just straight up hoe shit, and then
yeah, yeah,
you're like in the
yeah.
lead.
It's it's kind of like what is that, American Ninja Warriors?
Yes,
Like the
yeah.
stripper edition. It's funny too how those came about because my uncle sent me a video one time and it was a girl setting her thing on fire.
What?
She just
Her
set
cooch
it
on
on fire.
fire?
Yeah, like
Just her whole cooch
she set
setting it
her
on
vagina
fire.
on fire. Like
How
she
does that
just set
even
it on fire,
happen? She just set it on fire.
and then the background it had like a backdrop and it looked like some Olympics type of event. So I was like, I didn't really know what to do with it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do a voiceover to this and call it the Puti Olympics. And I just came in with the little announcer voice, like, and welcome back to the Puti Olympics. And then, like I said, those started taking off too on their own. So I just kept going with those videos as well.
That's the fun. It's the like some of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like those videos. What like if you can think like what's like the most insane or most like impressive or dangerous or like what sticks out to you of all the like Puti Olympics videos you've done or commented
That
on?
original one where she lit her thing on fire. There was another one where a girl took a cinder block and was just slamming it down on herself like the Incredible Hulk, like
Just onto her,
wow.
like just
Yeah, just
onto her.
onto the cooch, like just going crazy.
Like freaking, that's crazy. All right, so maybe
And
like
then one guy
wow.
jumped off of a roof and landed on a girl. Another guy jumped off of a roof. Another guy jumped off of a roof, and the girl got out the way. So he landed on his
Oh
face.
no.
That's what it was too.
So even if it's just guys hurting themselves,
Yeah.
it's still part of the Olympics because, you know, if there's Putis present, the guy can't even say it right.
Yes, that's a failed attempt. That's both thing that makes.
Got both the Olympics. So when did you start? So you have a puppet wave tour and you have a lot of shows coming up, which is very impressive because I know a lot of comics that are still having so much trouble, you know, doing any gigs at all, let alone, you know, rebooking the gigs that I guess were canceled during the lockdown. So I see that you're going to be in Miami in December,
Mhm.
December 15th, Boca Raton, Florida, December 16th in Tampa, December
Yeah.
17th. Any ones that I'm missing? I think you're going to be in
Actually,
more.
I just locked in today with Frank, Morris Plains, New Jersey,
Oh
November
yeah.
21st.
The dojo, that place is great.
The dojo, yeah.
I was just there on October 25th and the guy who runs it is great. He like loves comedy. He's going to love you. It's a really good venue. I don't know if you're going to be it'll probably be cold by then, so you'll probably be inside, but it's like a nice big room and good people, like really good people. And good food there too. Oh, good. That's exciting. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, but like I said, it's still a little weird because I did a show in the show I did in Milwaukee, and it was limited capacity. So it was weird to me because everybody just bunched up in the front. Nobody sat down. Like at first everybody was with their 6 feet apart tables, and then everybody just came to the front and bunched up in a big crowd around the stage.
Aw.
And it was like a little different, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm here in Florida is 100% capacity, and there's no like restrictions down there, so I'm kind of excited for down there.
Good.
Um, but it's still a little weird. Like I said, I just it set. I'm not the only one because everybody's going through it comedian wise, but it just set me way back too with canceling the tour I had over the spring, and then
Ugh.
now trying to rebook everything. Like, I'm having a little luck, but certain cities, like I just was supposed to do a show in New York that just got canceled because of the COVID stuff
Ugh.
over this past weekend. So it's just like still like it's bittersweet because it's like at any minute it could be taken away again. It's not like
Ugh.
before where it was like it had to be some crazy winter blizzard to get canceled or something, but now it's like, oh man, we got to worry about if things just gonna lock us down again. Like,
Yeah, it is really scary because like New York like really effing sucks. Like Cuomo sucks so bad. Like he has us comics like basically with strippers and with like the cabaret. You know, like we're like at the very bottom, completely unessential entertainment. And then like
the strippers are
California's
back.
the strippers are back.
The strippers are back before us.
I
They're
bet
open at the strip.
I bet strippers will come back before us. They'll be like, we could do a socially distant lap dance. Let's do it. Like they're
They
resourceful.
really are back. They're open in New York City. I'm like, I can't believe that they're back.
Wow.
I don't understand because what about comedy makes it so much more dangerous? I don't get it.
I don't know. You know what it is?
Like they're afraid we're
I
gonna spit on the
really
audience from the
I
stage.
really believe that it's the free speech element of it that makes it so easy for them to lock it down, because like what do comics do? We tell it like it is. We call out bullshit. We
Yeah,
say the thing that everybody else is thinking. So
that's
if
true.
people
I
are
didn't even
starting to
think
be
of it
like,
like that.
hey, it's been 6 7 months of lockdown, this doesn't make sense, and then you have like comedians go up and be like, hey, this is BS, like, maybe people get into talking about politics, and I feel like they're trying to quell that, because it's like, I think Cuomo at one point said like, oh, when you laugh, the spit droplets travel. I'm like, yeah, nobody, maybe there's one person who laughs like that all night. Like, you're not like laugh spitting all
People
over.
laughed.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not. Have you been to a comedy club, Cuomo? Like, are you aware? I just don't think he cares. It's really insane, because
Uh,
people need entertainment and to laugh, and to, because it's like good for your soul. It's medicinal. People need it right now. They need to like not think about their problems. They need to, you know, we all need to like come together and laugh about stuff. So it is really
yeah,
frustrating. But
nah, definitely. And the
yeah.
and the virtual shows, I don't know, just don't do it for me.
No, no, me either. It's like yeah, it's like a shadow. I mean, I've done a couple, but not really. Like I'll do podcasts, but it's, you can't like get the feeling of a crowd through a Zoom. Like you just can't. You got to feel what's in the audience, and and there's always a Zoom lag. You got to listen to the room, you know. So,
Yeah,
like, are
and
you?
it's an energy thing too. You like feeding off the audience energy.
Yeah, and you don't get that like off of a screen. It's just, it makes it so much harder. It puts another barrier there to human connection. Woody, are you personally nervous about like the virus, or your friends and family? Like, is there a lot of anxiety with that, or is it more so like, how are we all gonna, make money and get our businesses going again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more worried about the financial side of things, than anything else as far as like the
Yeah.
virus goes. Obviously, I just don't want to spread it to like my older family members or anything like that. But I mean, I've already been out and about and been in some of the like most crowded situations already. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
think I would have caught it by now.
So you have to protect the abuela puppet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, imagine you're like doing shows and be like, abuela puppet is home. Like, but
Yeah.
she's gotta be quarantined.
I actually got a funny story about the whole COVID stuff, about people being freaked out about it. So, like within the first month of when it happened, um, so my girlfriend came to stay with me in Boston during the quarantine. So we went to the 7-Eleven or whatever, not too far from my house, and I was wearing the mask, I was wearing the gloves. I jumped in the car, I took off, and I took off my mask and gloves, and I just threw them out the window because I was like, whatever. And I get ran down by some guy. He's like beeping like a maniac behind me, and my girlfriend's like, I think he's trying to flag you down. So I pull to the side, and he pulls up next to me. He's like, "You fucking asshole! Was that you who dropped the gloves back there?"
My
And
God.
first I'm trying to lie. I'm like, "What gloves?" He's like, and this guy's like 70 years old. He's like bursting like fucking blood vessels out his forehead. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "I seen you throw those gloves out your window. You fucking bastard. That's how people catch herpes."
My
I'm
God, I
like,
wonder if this person was my dad. You were in Florida?
I'm
I'm like, Florida,
I'm
70
like,
years
wait a minute,
old?
herpes.
We're like, I don't think
I'm
that's
like,
how herpes
I'm like,
works. Yeah.
I thought he was gonna say like that's how people catch the coronavirus. He said that's how people catch herpes. I was like, what?
That
And then he
sounds,
chased
yeah.
me. He's like, oh, go back and pick him up. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pick him up. I'm already like 4 blocks away. I'm like, no,
Wow.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, and I speed off on him, and then he chases me for like 8 blocks,
Oh my
like just
God.
he's running red lights, going on the opposite lanes, trying to cut cars off to get to me, just cussing me out the whole time.
What?
I'm like, bro, what do you want from me? Like at this point, you done broke 8 laws. trying
Yeah.
to prove your point to me about getting the damn gloves. Like I'm not getting them.
And
Like
like
they was,
every block, you just throw another pair of gloves out the window. Like you just keep like, you're like, oh, I never seen that. Wow, that's
and then it was
crazy. What
funny
a
because at one
weird,
point I seen him on the phone, like you could tell he was calling the police, and they must have been like, "Sir, what do you want us to do?" Like,
sir,
so
you're
then he
wasting
just
your
throws up his
time.
hands and like he's up.
The cops are like, you need to get a life, sir. You need to go back home. You need to look in the mirror and reevaluate things. Yeah.
I don't know. This was like at that like height of COVID too, when like so many people were dying from it. I'm like, I don't even think they're picking up the phone right now. Like,
No, yeah, they're worried about other stuff for sure. That's crazy. Woody, when you were in that transition period, like about to leave your job, like did your coworkers know what you were doing? Were they fans of yours? Did you feel like you had to keep it separate from them?
no, they knew. They all knew. Yeah, they knew. Because like I said a few times, I would have to call out, and you know, when you work retail, they make you get somebody to cover your shift.
Yeah.
So I would have to explain to them, and then a couple of them were following me and knew about my videos and stuff. But like I said, when I first got to CVS, my following and my videos wasn't crazy, so they got to actually see the process too. Like they seen me, you know, go from, you know, 1,000 followers to 50,000 overnight, and they seen the growth. So when I finally quit,
Wow.
it like except for my manager, but the rest of them were happy for me. Like, oh man, that's, you know, because they seen the whole process. So
Wow. Yeah, they were like on
and
the
then even to
journey
this
with
day,
you.
I still pop in there every once in a while and say what up to them. Only because it's 4 years later now, so only about like 3 or 4 of them still work there from when I was there. But I pop in and say what up to them every now and then.
Aw. And was the CVS in Boston?
In Boston, yeah, it's in Boston.
Ooh. Which one is it? If you want to give it
Yeah.
a shout out.
CVS, right across the street from Marliston Station.
Ooh. Do you ever go in there like would you ever go in there like with Joselito?
No, I haven't
You're
yet.
like, I'm
I
looking for some cough
haven't
drops, or like he's looking for condoms. Like I could see him doing that.
yet. No, yeah, I haven't done that yet. But like I said, I'll pop in every once in a while just to say hello and to
Aw.
the few guys that still work there, and
Yeah.
you know they're all happy for me and everything.
That's good. They should be. And so your manager was like not as happy for you.
No, I don't know if you heard it, but I actually have a bit about the whole quitting from CVS because he was like, I was trying to quit, and he was trying to tell me I had to give him a 2 weeks notice. And I was like, I'm trying to quit today. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to be here for
I was
two
like,
more
2 weeks.
weeks.
Like I was like, I got a show this weekend. Like,
I'm trying to quit today. Yeah.
yeah. Well, what had happened was what made me quit was I had booked 4 little hostings in a row. It was like a long weekend, and it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I was getting like $400 an event at that time.
Wow.
So it was about like almost 1,500, 1,600 bucks I was making that weekend, and I was
Wow.
only making like 600 bucks every 2 weeks from CVS. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I was like, I quit. I was like,
Good
I'm
for
making like twice as
you.
much money in 1 weekend.
Good for you.
So I
That's
just,
really awesome. That's like the dream, man. It's like it took me like yeah, I mean years and years. I mean that most comics like a lot of them still have day jobs. So it's that's really cool that you were able to like make the leap and it's definitely scary. I mean, but
yeah,
your friend was right. You can always go back. I mean, there's or you know, you can mix it up, try Dwayne Reed, you know, like you'll be okay. But I feel like you
for
won't
nothing.
I feel like you won't need to.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was a blessing with the whole Joselito thing, like I said, but like I said, I was kind of like, seeing the direction of where things were going, with the whole online comedy, so that's why I kind of wanted to get into it early, because I started doing videos when I said early as myself, it was like 2012. Um, I started doing videos because I was seeing other guys making that leap where it was like, there was this one particular kid, shout him out, Nelly Nell. He's a good friend of mine, but he used to come to my shows to watch me do comedy, and then he started doing the Instagram videos, and then within like 6 months, this kid had like 40,000 followers, and he was doing the
Wow.
whole thing for clubs and stuff, and then he did his first headlining show, and I opened up for him. So I seen
Wow.
his whole progression and growth within like just 6 months, and I'm like, this dude just leapfrogged me. And I had been in the game for like 5 years at that point. So I'm like, he just
Oh,
leapfrogged me in like 6 months. I'm like,
that's
I'm doing something wrong.
infuriating. You're like, God damn
I'm
it.
like, I need to get in these videos.
So what did you learn from watching his success?
So I learned that the online stuff, was kind of becoming like a little wave in its own. So that's when I started doing the videos on my own. And then what I learned from him too is similar to the stand-up game, where it's kind of like a community behind the scenes. Where when you're getting your feet wet in the stand-up scene, you want to know like who runs the open mics, what clicks are the good clicks to chill with, and, who's
Yeah.
friendly, who's gonna be acting like
Who are the
bougie.
assholes? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Instagram is very like that too behind the scenes. So when you
Hmm.
first get in and you only got like 1 or 2 thousand followers, you want to collab with the guys that got 50,000, 100,000 followers, but you want to get in with the ones that kind of fit your style of comedy, the ones that ain't gonna be too bougie, and I want to. So early on I started doing a lot of videos with guys that at the time maybe had like 20, 30,000, and I had like 4 or 5,000, and they started doing videos with me, and that helped me grow. Shout a couple of them out. One of them was Ken Stars, Loopy Blogger, Jacob the cop. He was another one. My other friend Daniel Jean, but we all kind of came up together in the Instagram community, just doing skits around New York and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm originally from Boston, but in 2016, I started venturing out to New York a lot just to collab with all the guys out there. And that's what helped me grow on Instagram too, just doing collabos with people, getting more on the scene.
Yeah. So you think it was more about like just the number of videos, or were you finding that like certain types of videos were working for you, or was like certain hashtagging, was that helping you, or was it just like the, constantly putting content out?
Yeah, it was a mixture of everything, just trying out everything. Like I was in the beginning, I used to do the quantity over quality, where it was like I was doing 5 videos a day, like just trying to get them out there. Then like you said, I would kind of notice certain videos were getting more views than others, so I would try to make them like a recurring thing, like the Puti Olympics and the Papi videos. So certain themes videos I would like bring back every so often that I realized were getting good. And then the one thing I learned too in on Instagram is they love catchphrases. So that's
Hmm.
when I started trying to come up with a lot of catchphrases like the damn booty and the what you mean booty, like
What
all
you
those like
mean? Those are my
yeah
favorite. Yeah.
I started kind of coming up with my own catchphrases because I was noticing the other guys all had their own little catchphrase, a little niche about them. So I was trying to like, I was already different because I was a puppet, but just trying to differentiate myself from them as far as the content goes. And yeah, just trying to stay original as possible too. That was my main thing because so there's so much competition online too. And even from when I started till now, like I remember when I started, like 10,000 followers on Instagram, and you could start moving and shaking and getting little
You can
hostings and
swipe
bookings
up.
and stuff.
You can swipe up. The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
I
But
like,
now I feel like it's so many people that it's like now it's like 100,000. You get 50,000 on Instagram now, and nobody knows who you are. Like, so I noticed it's kind of gotten a little watered down too. But that's why you kind of have to stay on top of things and stay original, keep coming out with content. Like
right.
me personally, I like to focus on my core fan base, and if the extra ones come, that's fine. But I try to like always just cater to the core fan base.
Yeah. And as you were like, and you're very much set apart from everybody else. And when you were thinking about, how to set yourself apart from everybody, what were you noticing that there already were a lot of, or what were you, trend wise, or you're like, okay, well, there's a lot of X, Y, and Z, like what were you seeing a lot of that made you want to branch out?
Well, it was just like everybody was kind of copying each other. Like it was a lot of like for some reason, a lot of guys were because the like one kid I was telling you about earlier, his name was Loopy Blogger.
Hmm.
And he had a character that was him dressing up as a girl in a dress. So when I first got in like 2015, 2016, it seemed like everybody was in dresses.
Stressing, yeah.
Yeah, everybody was in dresses and wigs. And then like everybody also likes to do like a lot of stuff, just kind of like current event stuff, similar to like stand up too, like if something happens on MTV Music Awards or something, the next day
Okay.
everybody's doing a skit about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
or like, I try to stay away from the too cliche stuff like that. Just trying to make it as original as possible. I was trying to stay with the whole, Puerto Rican family theme too, so that helped me a lot too.
Yeah, definitely. Do you find that so you obviously have a big Puerto Rican fan base. Do you feel like your humor translates to like say with like Dominican people or like, other like other Latino groups or like how are you finding that or what was your process like? Were you seeing like, oh, okay, were you ever worried that it wouldn't translate to certain groups or
No, yeah, it does translate. It translates through all the Hispanic communities. It's just, the obviously the Puerto Ricans, uh, you know, gravitate towards it more. Because some of the things do, are more catered for them. But yeah, it's definitely translatable. Like what I'm trying to do now is make that leap now. Even though I try to my best in the stand up, but trying to make that leap now to get the other, the the gringos and the Asians and everybody else, like, to get in tune with it.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I wonder if that means an Asian puppet is on the horizon for you.
Well, it's funny because I thought of that too. I'm like, oh, I gotta start incorporating the different nationality puppets, and then that would help. Because the other thing I get too is I'll be walking down the street with Joselito, and I'll get somebody's random mom or grandmother like, "Will you do my 5-year-old daughter's birthday party?"
Oh,
And I'm like,
that's
he's not that type of puppet.
you're like, I'll do your 25-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm actually doing a private party next weekend, and it's for a 50-year-old. I'm like,
Oh, that's
I'm like,
perfect. And then there's some comics who really look down on like the private parties and like the weird private gigs, but like I've had some of the best times like, doing bridal showers and like, either winning over the crowd or like turning off the crowd and then having to win them back and it's like 2 p.m. everyone's sober, you're in the back of a restaurant, but it's like number one, like these gigs like help pay the bills, like number two, like you are really honing certain skills and it's like if you can find a way to thrive at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with everyone being sober, like you're in pretty good shape. So
yeah, yeah. No, that's true. I like you said, I've had some good shows on private events and stuff, especially with the Joselito stuff. I get a lot of private gigs, um, a lot of motorcycle clubs.
really. What?
Yeah, they love Joselito for some reason. I was like my show the most in Philadelphia was for the motorcycle club, and it was like 100 and some change there because it's like a whole club comes out. And we did it at the headquarters and everything. It was cool.
Wait, what headquarters did
But
you?
yeah, I
You're
know what
you're
you mean with
cutting
the
you're cutting out a little
looking down.
bit.
'Cause even when I is that
Okay,
good?
I can hear you. Yeah, you were cutting out a little bit
You
when
hear
you were
me?
talking about that motorcycle clubs really like you.
Yeah, yeah. It was the last show. That was the last show I got to do back in March before the COVID stuff happened, and
Hello, you're good.
yeah, you good? All right.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, and then from there, and then it was funny too, because I my girlfriend came with me, but she stayed at the hotel room. Like she got sleepy and didn't want to come to the show. And when I got back, she was like, "Oh my God, I just watched the whole documentary on this COVID stuff." It wasn't even COVID yet. I think it was still coronavirus at the time.
Yeah.
She's like, do you think? She's like, they just shut down all of China. She's like, do you think it'll happen over here? What if they shut down your tour?
Oh.
I was like, that will never happen. And like 2 weeks later on the dot, it was like whole country shut down. I was like, no. I
Oh,
was like,
I know. It was just like I remember it being April and you were like, "Oh, but the summer is going to be fine." And then like, you know, just suspending all the disbelief. You're just like, "Oh no, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Oh, it won't be the summer. Oh, it won't be definitely won't be the fall, you know?" And then you're like, "Here we are in November and like shit is still so weird." So,
for
yeah.
real.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I remember my last show too was also in Philly. It was at the Philly Comedy Club, and it was March 12th. Like people fully knew about it. Things were really shutting down. Like it was I remember we were like didn't know if the show was still going to happen. We were like it probably is going to be shut down, but like there's something really great about combination of like Compound Media fans and also just people in Philly like did not give a fuck. Like they were in March how like most people feel now, where they just wanted to get out and have fun. And like I was really blown away with how people just like kind of like didn't care. They were like, yeah, we just want to see the show. Like whatever happens, you know. Like it was really great. It was cool that it still happened. And then
Yeah.
just doing like random backyard shows and like yeah, for sure taking a hit financially. But are you on OnlyFans? I think I saw you that you had an OnlyFans
Yeah.
account for Joselito.
Yeah. Joselito started his own OnlyFans.
Is he doing nudes? What is he doing on there?
Well, actually, yeah, there's a couple nudes of him on there.
Woohoo!
But mostly I started putting the stuff that was just getting banned from Instagram and Facebook. All the skits that I had in my phone that had gotten deleted, for violating the rights on Facebook or Instagram.
Ugh.
I started throwing them on there, and like I said earlier, I'm just blessed to have a strong fan base that I ended up getting some some money generated on there. People subscribe to the page and they've been liking the content, so. I just kept it open, even though I got the show. Kind of fell back from it now that things are kind of getting a little bit back to normal. But yeah, it definitely held me down through the summer.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, don't feel bad for that because like your fans like want to support you, and a lot of times it's money they would have spent going to see you perform anyway. So you know, don't. It takes me a while to feel like to get over that, but it's like it's whatever they would have spent on you seeing you over the summer or over the fall or whatever. So I think people
Yeah.
want to
No, yeah, I
support.
had fans that hit me up that was like, yo, I don't even have the app or the or not, like, I just signed up just to support. Like they don't even care about the content. I have a couple fans that hit me up saying that like they just wanted to, or they started buying more merch too
Oh,
over the corona, like just different ways. Even had a few fans just cash at me out of nowhere, like, what's your cash app? I'm gonna send you some money. Like
wow, that's really
I was like, okay.
touching. That's really sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
great.
definitely been blessed in that way. And then now, like I said, thing starting to get a few more bookings in. Just can't get nothing on the West Coast until 2021.
Yeah, West
Cause
Coast is all messed up.
actually Frank, shout out Frank
Shout out
Pellegrino,
to
my agent.
Frank.
He had right before the COVID happened too. He had plugged me in with an agency out of LA that was getting me on my West
Oh,
Coast tours.
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And it was gonna be sponsored through Live Nation, but now Live Nation is not coming back till 2021. So
My God. All right. Well,
yeah.
yeah. You're gonna
So
come
I'm
right
just have
back.
to hit the states that are open now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna be just fine. I have a feeling. How did your family like first of all, how does your family feel about all of this? How did they feel when you were quitting your job to do this stuff? Were they skeptical? Were they positive, negative?
My mom didn't start believing it until her coworkers at work started being like, "Do you know your son is famous?"
Aw.
That's when she started being like, she was like, "Yo, so this Joselito thing is."
You're like, yeah, I've been trying to
I'm
tell
like,
you.
"Wow." Oh yeah, I've been telling you this for like 5 years. She's
Isn't that
like,
so
"Yeah." She's like,
funny that with parents, like it takes something else or somebody else. Like I think they just I don't know. Like my parents always just saw me one way, and they, I still don't even think my dad thinks I'm doing anything, with my life. So it's funny how it
I
takes
think
like a
it's
friend
people
or
in
somebody.
general. People in general, because I noticed too when I first, even before my mom, it comes from the friends and your childhood friends first, where they're like, "Oh, yo, I seen so and so posting you on their page," and I'm like, "Yeah, like I've been
Yeah.
telling you to follow my page too for a couple years." Like, it's like I feel like people that know you don't want to believe it until they start seeing like strangers or other people, in tune, and then they're like, "Whoa, whoa, something's going on."
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny? And it's like I also feel like with stand up and performing, like I just feel like I don't know, so much more comfortable, and I feel like I can be so much more honest. And I've said this on like other podcasts too. Like I feel like I can be more comfortable and more honest with a room full of strangers than like people in my own family, people that I've known my whole life. It's just like there's something more freeing about that. There's no expectation, there's no like judgment or like preconceived notions about you, and you can just like be who you are right now instead of
Yeah,
having them process like you as a kid, you your whole
yeah.
life.
And then if you bomb, you don't gotta worry about seeing those people ever again.
Yeah, you're like, bye. Want a
Yeah, yeah,
t-shirt?
yeah.
Nope. All right, bye.
Oh man, the worst is bombing in front of friends and family because I still remember when I was still hitting the open mic scene back in the day, and
I
the
still
bringer shows.
remember.
Yeah, yeah. The bringer shows. Um, so I brought out like 12 of my friends and family and coworkers. I had a whole table filled in the back, and everybody was excited for me. One of my coworkers even brought me like a congratulations card.
Oh my God, that's so
Oh my god,
cute.
I ate my dick so hard. I was like, I, I wanted to yell at them like, "Why ain't y'all laughing?" There's 15 of y'all. That would be a nice little laugh going on right now. We got 15 of y'all.
Do you remember where that was?
Oh, it was in downtown Boston at it was a spot. It's not there no longer, but it's called the Comedy Vault.
Uh,
It was run by a guy named Dick Doherty.
oh man. Yeah, like we've all done it. Like I was doing bringer shows like early on too, and then I just over time lost friends because they were like, we don't want to come. We're like, we're done coming to your bringer shows. I was like, oh boy, sorry.
Uh, and the worst is when after the show they'd be like, if they came once and had a good time, so then they come a second time, and then they get mad like, you said the same jokes as last time,
You're
right?
like, yes, I've been doing this for
Like yeah,
a
that's how it
year.
works.
Yeah, I don't have a whole new 15 minutes here. I'm just starting out.
And then
Yeah.
that's when you start losing them. They're like, nah, I'm not going back till you get new
No.
material. Like, that's gonna take me another 2 years.
Yeah. Why won't you answer my text anymore? Oh no. Wow.
Yeah, man. I remember for me, it got to the point where sometimes I would stand outside the venue and just ask random couples, like, I'll pay for your tickets, just come see me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like when this was like I think it was March when I headlined in LA, right when all like the COVID like stuff was happening. It might have been March 8th, and I was like headlining, it was like downtown LA. And I, I remember like the show still happened, thank God, but the crowd was like lighter than I expected. And I remember I went with like my opener and my feature, and we went like just blocks down, and we went like into town to like hand out flyers and just like pulling people out of coffee shops, like, please come to the show. Where? Who are you? Why? What are you doing? people like People thought we were strippers. We're like, whatever you think we are, like, just come on, like, what's all gonna happen? Sure, why not? Like, we've all just been desperate like that. Oh my God. And then I
Yeah, it
remember
happens, man. Every so often you have that one show, you're like, oh man,
yeah,
I
and
should have done a little more
it was still a
promotion.
really good show, but I felt like I had to explain, like when I get on stage, I'm like, man, this would have been sold out, but like a big portion of my audience was on a cruise ship, out in the middle of the ocean, and they're marooned somewhere. Whoops, Or like I had this huge
Yeah,
Chinese fan base. So yeah, it's crazy. It's just like comedy, it's like a crazy way to live your life, and it's like so unpredictable, and like anybody who's thinking of getting into it, like it's not going to be glamorous. It's going to be just like a lot of hard work, and if you don't love it and if you're not like fueled by it, it's like you're not going to have a good time with it.
yeah. Nah, that's a fact. Cause I know if I didn't love it, I would have quit years ago. Cause it just takes so long too before you make any real money that it's like a lot of people think they're gonna get in and within a year I'm gonna be in Hollywood and making movies, and nah, it's not that easy.
Oh my God, yeah, it's like tried maybe 10 years. And that's the thing, it's like you'll have like a Michael Che or somebody, like he did stand up 2 years and popped off, but there's like way more that don't, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's like the whole thing. It takes 10 years to be an overnight success. Cause even myself, like it took me a good 5 to 7 years before I even switched to the Joselito thing. Like I was just starting to become, or I think maybe like another year or two, I would have been a headliner on my own locally, like in
Mhm.
Boston. But Joselito definitely helped me leapfrog and get to that headliner spot before I normally would have.
He's like, what,
And then,
what,
and then
what
that's
took
the
you
thing
so
too that a
long?
lot
Why
of,
did it take so long? You know?
and then a lot of people I get that too when I do a lot of out of town gigs and the club gets their own like openers or features, and they be surprised that I came from stand up. They think I'm just an Instagram guy. That all of a sudden I'm just winging it on stage, and you know how that is. It's kind of like a behind the scenes beef between online comedians and
For
stand ups. Like
sure.
the
Absolutely.
traditional
It is.
stand ups don't like online
Stand-up
guys. They be
comics don't respect YouTubers, and
like,
YouTubers don't know enough about comedy to know that they're not respected. They just kind of are like, they're just doing, they're just like, hey, we're making money, we're doing great. And then stand-ups are like, God damn it, you don't respect the art form. And they're like, we don't care,
yeah,
we're
yeah, you
rich.
don't know the struggle I've been through for the last 20 years.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got a lot of that. I got a lot of hate too, and from the scene in Boston when I started doing Joselito.
hmm. Where they thought it was too like gimmicky, or probably maybe just jealous they
Exactly.
didn't think of it.
Gimmicky. They thought I was a hack. They said, and there was a Facebook board that I was on, and I used to post my videos on there just to show people what I was doing, see if anybody maybe wanted to help out, anything like that. And this one guy, he just went in on me, and then it opened the floodgates for like everybody to throw in their 2 cents. And
What?
then I found out how everybody really felt about me. I'm like, wow. And it was funny because I still throw it in their face to this day because now they all love me. But at the time, they hated me because I put a comment and I was like, I was like, hey guys, I was like, I feel like the internet might be the new wave for comedy soon. Like maybe we should jump on it early while it's still like in the early stages. And the guy I was arguing with, he was like, he was at the time he was well known in Boston because he had just came off of doing like a little 4 minutes on one of them those like Comedy Central
Who was it?
showcases.
Who was it?
His name is Sean Sullivan.
Oh, I think I've heard of him. I think I have.
He's a big fat guy, but he was on like I said, he was probably like 10 years in the game. I was like 5 years in at the time,
So what
and
did
he
you
was
know? Yeah.
he had just came off of Comedy Central too, so everybody was like nut hugging him,
Like,
and
yeah.
he's like, hey, he said, huh, did you hear this guy? He said the internet's the new wave of comedy, and basically laughed me out the room, and then I got so
Oh.
mad because he had just had a set of twins. So I put on the thing. I was like, why do you think you're this big shot? Because you got 4 minutes on Comedy Central. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, don't you got some twin babies to breastfeed? I'm like, whip out them titties, big boy. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
whole board exploded. They were like, "Oh my God, who does this guy think he is? How dare he talk to Sean like
Wow.
that?"
And you've definitely slogged it out. Like you've definitely worked in stand up for years, and you know what it takes. You've definitely like whatever, like put in your dues or something. And that's the thing with these older guys, like you can't get crusty. Like yes, like some are more talented than others, whatever, but it comes down to like what do you do with it? And it's like those of us who can best pivot and like use our talents, and like we're all trying to make money and like get relatively well known. Everyone's got different goals, but like most of
Yeah,
us want to make, most of us want to like not work at CVS, right? So it's like it's up to each of us
yeah,
to find like whatever this works best in. And
yeah,
and you're not that guy's competition, nor is he yours. So it's like it's such a waste of energy to like beef up with somebody. Maybe that comes from like a deep-seated place of feeling like, oh, maybe I am old and crusty and I don't know how to set up TikTok.
yeah.
um
Well, the thing in Boston is though, you got those guys because it's not a major market like New York, so it's like you have the same headliners from the early '90s who they're not giving up that spot, and there's only so many headlining spots,
because they're
throughout the
not going to
week.
move
So it's like,
out. Yeah.
yeah, they're not moving out of New York or maybe they tried to and they didn't make it, so they came right back and they got their spot back because they have the experience. So you got a lot of those guys, and then obviously they look down on the open micers and the middlers or whatnot. But so I noticed everybody who's made it out of Boston had to move out of
Mm,
Boston to get any type of recognition because like just staying there alone isn't gonna do it. They call it like the minor leagues because
mm.
we're a comedy town and a lot of famous comedians came out of Boston,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's like you practice there for a few years and then you got to go to New York or LA to really make it. Like even
Wow.
myself, I just made the move to New York. I'm a Queens resident now.
Yes, I used to live in Astoria. I lived on Crescent Street,
Oh,
right,
that's not too far from me. I
right near
mean, East
the
Elmhurst.
the Broadway stop. Yeah, I lived for 4 years with this woman named Susan who I met off Craigslist. She was 65 years old. And she was just like a kooky old broad. I can't believe I lived with her that long. It was just like nuts. But it's like that, and that's not even the first roommate I found on Craigslist. Like I don't know. I was like really loving that Craigslist for a few years. But yeah, it's like just gotta like take the risk and move and like I don't know. You're gonna be just fine. It's like I don't know. I'm a big fan of yours. What are your plans or like the goals for the future? Like once, things start to come back, do you know, more touring or more right, more puppets?
Yeah, like I said, I did want to add more characters. I want to get the tour back on the road fully. Hit all the cities that I had to
Yeah.
cancel. And then I've been talking to Frank on ways to expand the brand and maybe get the tour going a little better. And my ultimate goal, and I've spoken to this with both Frank and the agency out of LA, is a Netflix special with
Oh,
Joselito. That's what I would
yeah.
love. So yeah, I just want to get that. Like right now, I'm working on my new hour. Because I kind of want to scratch my old material from pre-COVID. So
Yeah,
I'm
I know
working
the
on I'm
feeling.
working on
Yeah.
yeah, it just kind of feels old and tired, and it's like it's like 9 months old to me now, like, and I haven't been practicing it, so it's
Yeah,
just
and it
like
feels like a different world. It feels like, I don't know, like that's I had to do a lot of changing up before I did that show in Morris Plains, New Jersey. I had to just like throw out a lot of stuff and like just put the old stuff through the filter of now, like the weirdness. So yeah, these times will definitely do things to your stand-up material, but it's good. You just got to like work through it, and see how
yeah,
it goes.
nah,
Um,
yeah. So I definitely want to work on a new hour, and like I said, hopefully that would be the end goal, maybe getting a Netflix special and getting that,
Absolutely. They would be so dumb
because
not to
I
give
feel
that to
like.
you.
I'm trying to make moves that would then in hand turn the tour, make the tour more lucrative, like so.
Yeah.
I notice anybody who has any type of special on Netflix, their tours go crazy. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good idea. Because there's not how many other like
yeah,
puppet comedians are there out right now?
as far as I know, I'm the only one that
Yeah.
does what I do as far as like you know, a puppeteer stand-up show because
Yeah.
you got the ventriloquist, but I've yet to see another guy that got the whole stage set up and it's just the puppets and you
Yeah.
don't see him. So it is unique in that way. So that's why I kind of want to hopes I get that little jump or somebody sees it before somebody kind of comes and
Oh.
and bites my tail, like because that might happen too.
Oh no way. You're doing great. I mean, they would be crazy not to give you a Netflix special. You're super unique, you're super funny. Everything it's very relatable. I'm just a big fan of yours. Where can the good people of the internet find you, follow you, support you, check out your work?
Yeah, so it's Joselito the Puppet on across all social media platforms. The Puppet is with a D-A. Joselito is Joselito. And yeah, if you Google me, you can find tickets to my tour, or you can go to Linktree /Joselito the Puppet. OnlyFans, Joselito the Puppet, if you want to support that way. And yeah, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just follow me, Joselito the Puppet. If you want to follow my personal page, it's Woody Wood.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Woody. This was great. I can't wait to see you in real life someday.
For sure. Definitely gotta link up again sometime soon.
Oh,
Thanks for
yeah.
having me.
Of
I
course.
appreciate the interview and the exposure.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. Bye.